And you're like, okay, we're all on the same
Friends
team.
again.
Did you actually put that on, or was that Photoshop?
No, that was Photoshop.
Okay. And then Mr. Hohenstein texted and was like, hey, Addison Tarr is going to hit 1,000 points. We got to do something for this.
Device in my knee.
There's something in there.
Literally
We don't
know.
what.
Yeah, there's something in there.
Some sort of
But yeah,
contraption.
but yes.
Today, I sat down with Addison Tarr, a local high school student, basketball athlete, and soon-to-be college athlete for SEMO. I talked about her high school experiences and path looking forward. Let's take a look. All right, Addison, thank you for joining us here today. So the big news is that you have officially signed with SEMO. So can you talk a little bit about what that decision was like and how that whole process went?
So it was kind of funny. I just went there for a camp. It wasn't a visit or anything. We drove down there. It was like a Saturday. Had a really good camp performance. Walking in there, I had no idea I'd come out with an offer. So I played really well. The coach was really awesome. The culture was great there. The vibe was great. The team actually helped coach, our individual teams at the camp like the SEMO team did. So getting to kind of meet the players also helped kind of make that decision. It was just a really great vibe overall at the camp. So I think I didn't really get to see much of campus, but just, getting to meet the players and the coaches, I knew this was a team I wanted to be a part of.
So was it on your radar at all before this, or was this kind of the first time when you went there that you enjoyed the experience?
So I had talked to some other schools that were in the OVC, that same conference they played in, but I had never talked to SEMO before. So walking in there, I had no expectations. I had never really talked to them at all. But my coach was like, hey, they really like this film I've sent them. I think you should check out their camp. So, yeah, I went there not expecting anything to come out of it. But, yeah.
Were there any other places on your radar that you thought about beforehand?
So I had several offers from some Division IIs, a few in Chicago, a few kind of closer to home, Springfield area. So I was considering those. They were offering similar to what SEMO had offered me. And they were close to home, so I thought it was great. Parents would be able to come to a lot of the games. Great opportunities, super thankful for them, but yeah.
You talk about being close to home, so was that a big factor? Because it's going to be awesome to have your parents be able to come out to some of those games.
It's funny because SEMO, they play in the OVC, so my parents they'll be able to come to home games because they're only 3 hours away, but they'll catch more away games because we play SIUE, Eastern, Western, so they'll be able to catch a lot of games. I had visited schools out in Utah that were 13 hours away, so I family and friends coming to support me is a really big thing for me. I know I have a lot of friends that go across the country to play, and I think it means a lot to me for my parents to be at a lot of the games.
It'll be not the same environment, obviously, but to have those people supporting you, I think, is a big deal. But yeah, you say people going across the country for this. Do you know what the furthest you traveled to look at a school was?
It was southern Utah, and a drive is 13 or 14 hours, but we had to fly to St. Louis, fly into Vegas, and then it was a 2.5-hour drive from Vegas to the campus. So that was the farthest I've ever gone.
Did you go with your parents for that visit?
Yep, I went with my dad.
So what was his or even your mom's kind of reaction to you going out there? Were they kind of on edge, or were they supportive of you going out there if you had made that decision?
It was a little bit of both, for sure. The distance was crazy far, but it's so beautiful out there. I mean, it's totally different environment than Central Illinois, obviously. So it was really it tug on their heart a little bit because it was so far, but it was so beautiful. But
sure, yeah. So obviously it's a big decision that you have to make with your parents about where you're going to go and spend the next 4 years. But did trainers or mentors or anything like that have any sort of impact for you on helping you decide that?
Oh, absolutely. My AU coach, Coach Gates, I dealt with 2 injuries. I didn't even play a single full tournament with him, but he still worked so hard to get me an offer, get me looks with people. I have so much respect for that. I'm so grateful for him. I'm so grateful for all my high school coaches who made phone calls to schools as well, and just all my surgeons, my physical therapists, my trainers, just all of them really I'm so grateful for all of them, and I wouldn't even have this opportunity without them.
When you talk about injuries and how that can be an effect on the game, obviously, you've been through a couple now, like you said, and a specifically bad one, I think was a sophomore year. So is that something that whenever you go out on the court, you're nervous about, like this could happen again? Do you think about that in the back of your mind?
For sure. But at the same time, I know that I have put in the work with my nutrition, with my strength training, with my skills training, that I know I'm the strongest I've ever been physically, but mentally the challenge it's the hardest part of it. Tearing my ACL, and then I came back and played my junior season, and then my first AU game back for junior year, I tore my meniscus the rest of the way. So I went and had a meniscectomy, but no, everything feels great. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but yes, mentally, like sometimes there's still some roadblocks.
How's the support? I mean, obviously, there's got to be support with that from teammates or family. So when you're injured, but even when you're making a big decision like going to a college, how's the support play a role in that?
It plays a huge role in it. There's some practices where you can just kind of tell, like, I'm a little more, I don't want to say hesitant, but kind of hesitant. But like my coaches can see it on my face, but they're just constantly reminding me that it's gonna be okay. Like, you are the strongest you've ever been. Like, and it's just sometimes that's easy to forget. And my teammates as well. I played with some girls since 6th grade, and they know, like, when I'm having an off day, like, they can just, like, sense it, but, like, they're great support for me.
So at SEMO, when you had the chance to go down there, were you already making some bonds with people that could offer support in the future, some teammates down there?
Oh, for sure. So, like, for the camp, at the end of the camp, we did scrimmage games, and your coach was one of the SEMO basketball players, the current players, and my coach was Brianna Hill. She's a freshman there this year. She's from Chicago, but she had a great personality, like great energy, like, and she knew that I had come off of an injury, but she even pulled me aside and was like, I know you're coming off from an injury, but you're so good, like, you shoot the ball great, like, so she just, like, was constantly uplifting me, so that made, like, the camp a lot more enjoyable, too.
It's awesome to have people like that
For
supporting you there.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back and look, what was one of your earliest memories just playing basketball as a little kid? Do you remember?
I used to live on Heights Avenue,
Okay.
and we had like a little concrete slab in our backyard that kind of like was in our neighbor's backyard too, kind of like crossed the line like right there. But my neighbors were so cool. They were great. They did not care at all. But my dad put a basketball hoop up, and I remember there's a Facebook video that comes up on my mom's timeline every year, and it is me playing with like a dodgeball ball, and I'm like shooting, and it's taking like all my force in me to like get the ball up, but my mom's like cheering behind the camera, and my dad's cheering too, and it's just so cute. I was like probably, I don't know, 3. I was probably 3.
Yeah.
Like, but it's, yeah.
I think we need to send those neighbors a thank you card for letting them put that up,
we
because
do.
who knows
Yes.
what would have happened if they didn't, but that's great. Did you ever play through like the YMCA and that kind of league?
Oh yeah, that was rough. My parents thought I probably needed to stop playing basketball. They're like, wow, like she's so bad. But no, I did the
She'll
YMCA
never go
league.
anywhere
Yeah,
with this.
no. But no, I did the YMCA league. I did like the South Fork League, St. Mary's Pee Wee League, and then that kind of time was like in 4th grade, 5th grade, and St. Mary's did like leagues and all that stuff. But yeah.
Did you play other sports growing up too?
I played volleyball as well. I started that in 4th grade, and then after I tore my ACL, I was like, I'm just going to stick to one thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're just
Yeah.
going to cancel out all the other possibilities of getting hurt, but yeah.
There's a lot of little kids that like try like soccer or softball or things like that. Did you ever get into any of those?
I did do t-ball. I was a t-ball champ. But no, I never played soccer. That never was appealing to me. I can't kick. I also can't throw to save my life. So softball was never an option either.
Sounds like basketball's
so just
the good choice.
basketball, yeah.
So when did you really get into it as, because I know that you practice a lot now, it's like your main thing. Did you get really into that in junior high, or was it even before that or after that?
I would say like 4th or 5th grade. I think 5th grade was when I got like my first like legit trainer, Marky. I had some other trainers throughout my childhood too, but like when I really decided like I want to play basketball, like I got Marky Freeman, she's my trainer. I started working with her, and from there, it's just been crazy going back and seeing how much I've progressed and improved and just grown throughout the years. But yeah, probably 5th grade was like when I nailed down.
When you talk about the trainers growing up, obviously they have to be able to work with you athletically, but do you think the connection beyond that, like mentally and the personality, has an impact with that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially going to like little kid camps growing up, like there are some kids that they were just like there sitting in the corner, like sitting on the balls and stuff. But like no, for sure, like the coaches like were super uplifting, and like obviously that's their job to get the kids doing the drills and stuff. But no, like for sure, like I think it takes a lot in people to get like young kids especially like get involved and get passionate about a sport. But yeah.
So, do you remember the game here at Taylorville? I think it was versus Paris. Was that the 1,000-point game?
Yes.
So, can you talk about the emotions a little bit going through that and what had led up to that?
So, leading up to that, like, I remember we were at the State Farm Classic before that, and I was close to hitting it at that tournament, but I was like, I want to hit it at home. Like, I want to hit, like, in this game, like, the Paris game is going to be perfect because the boys have their shootout. There's going to be a bunch of people there afterwards from that. Or the last game of the day, like I want it to be at home. I want people to be able to see it. So I remember, like, kind of holding off, like, at the State Farm Classic, and then we played at MacArthur, and I was like, oh, I really can't hit it here either. So, like, that was nerve-wracking, and then, like, the morning of that game, like, nerves hit me big time. But I'm so grateful for my teammates for just allowing that to happen, and they were really trying to get me the ball, and it was just like any other game once the game started, but no, I was totally nervous before the game.
I think you went into that game with like 991, so 9 points, which is very doable. But I remember when you got to like 997 or 999, it kind of hit like a break, and like a few minutes were rolling by where you'd get a few shots and they just weren't falling, and everyone was kind of standing like just like on the edge of their seat waiting for it. I remember the crowd erupted once you hit it, and people had like signs and stuff for you. So what was that like when I don't know, were you able to look up there and see the people that were cheering for you and had the signs and all that?
No, it was awesome. Like, I just felt like so much love and so much support. But yeah, they didn't pause the game. I thought they were gonna pause the game. So I'm like hugging people. I'm looking up in the crowds, waving at my parent,
and the ball's
coming down the court. I'm like, oh no! So I start sprinting back, but no, it was awesome. It was such a great experience.
Sure, and I think, did they get you I remember after the game they had some sort of banner or something. Can you talk about what happened after the game?
Yeah, so after the game, I got a cool banner, and then my teammate they got me flowers, got me balloons, and they made me like a little picture frame, just like a picture collage of, some action shots, and then like 1,000 points, and they all signed the back and left little messages and stuff. And I got the game ball. They laminated like 1,000 points and my name on there. Which was super awesome. But it was just like, we went to Nesty's after to celebrate with some friends, and it was just so awesome.
I remember I think the game time was usually like 7 p.m. or whatever, and we were going to get ready to do a regular just Tommy TV broadcast, and sometimes, the scripts go into it, all the pre-planning and stuff, and this one was kind of laid back. It was like, okay, Paris, who are these guys? We'll just have a decent broadcast. And then Mr. Hohenstein texted and was like, hey, Addison Tarr is going to hit 1,000 points. We got to do something for this. So Drew and I are running around the studio trying to get a script built up, get graphics ready, because we're like, we didn't know about this. But I'm glad that we were able to capture that moment. Are there any times that kids, or especially girls in basketball, will look up to you? And do you ever have to mentor kids like that, or are you at that point yet?
Yeah, there's definitely, even with my sister growing up, we're polar opposites, but I can be hard on her sometimes, and I don't know if she likes that or not, but like it's just how I am. Like I want her to do so well, and even like the incoming freshmen now, like we've just had some open gyms, but still there are some girls that they've never played basketball before, so I've had to like teach them how to go off the right foot, like when you're doing a layup, or critique them with ball handling and some plays we do, but yeah, I've had to do that for a few years, but really, like, this year I think is going to be the big year to be a leader and to lead, teach the little girls. But yeah.
What about for you? Because I know that now, we're seeing a big increase in that with, like, Caitlin Clark and these other girls who are going into the pro level. whenever you were growing up, did you have anyone that you looked up to, and whether it was a girl or someone in the NBA?
Yeah, I was a big I was a big LeBron fan, like from a young age. I don't even watch the NBA anymore, to be honest. But yeah, like you said, like Caitlin Clark, like she's such an awesome mentor for all these young girls and Kate Martin and all of them. So that's been super fun to watch. I've always loved watching college ball more than professional ball. Big Illini fan. Like we have like 4 balls at home signed by like past Illini teams. So like I'm a huge Illini fan, but yeah, no, Caitlin Clark's awesome. I think she's like the perfect mentor for all these young girls that are getting more involved in basketball for sure.
Because you look at not only her skill, but her mentality and how she plays, and the sportsmanship that she shows to her competitors a lot of times. So I think to have that role model is definitely a big deal, especially for girls coming up and to see the fans filling out when she was with Iowa. I think she's with the Fever now, so a big trend there to set that up. Do you have any goals for college ball going into that at SEMO?
Some goals. It's just gonna be a completely different vibe. I'm gonna have to manage my time. Time management is gonna be my best friend, like for sure. But I do hope I like find a perfect balance of like basketball and life outside of basketball as well. Because like that can eat. I mean, like that can. It really can weigh on you. Even just in high school in AAU, like it did for me sometimes. But just staying healthy, and I think managing life outside basketball and in basketball is going to be like a big thing for me.
So how do you manage that time, and what goes in on both sides? Because obviously for basketball you have the games obviously, but way before that you have practices and going to the gym and all that stuff. So I mean, what is the behind the scenes aspect of that? Because a lot of people don't know what happens when there's not games going on.
Yeah, so when there's not games going on, like you're still working out, you're still practicing, you have classes throughout the day too. Um, yeah, workouts, practices, weightlifting. Um, Even so, I know some schools do like nutritional classes. Like you go and do work on your nutrition every day. Like you get with a nutritionist and kind of sort things out and make sure you're eating the right things and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, it's a full-time job. But yeah.
What about for the regular classes? Do you know what kind of classes you're going to be looking into, or what sort of industry you want to pursue as far as the classes go?
So I think I want to major in exercise science, and then after I do that, I want to become a physical therapist. I've had to do so much physical therapy in my life. I don't know
Probably
if
a
that's
pro by
yeah,
now.
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but
Yeah.
like I've kind of like gained some love for it. Like I think it's like a cool way to. I think there's a competitive aspect to it for sure with physical therapists. Like they want their patients to like do well and to like improve, and so I think that's what I want to do.
Especially think of the accomplishment that you feel as a physical therapist. If you have somebody that needs your help and then they go on to do great things, that kind of accomplishment that you feel inside, I'm sure that's probably how they felt when they were helping you, and then the trend that you're going on. So going into your senior year here at Taylorville High School, what are some goals that you have set for right now? What are you looking forward to this senior season?
So this senior season, I hope that we're going to win conference again. I know we can. We're going to. So winning conference, just getting a good fan base out to our games. Like, we are such a good team. And I think, even just throughout these past 3 years that I've played, like, we just get so much better and better and better every single year. It's just so fun. It's been such a fun ride. And just making a postseason run, like, we can go to state. We have that caliber team. Like, we can go to state. We are aggressive. We are such a good team, and I know we can do it. So,
I know that last year it was in the postseason run. Do you remember where you guys played in that final game? I think you lost by like 2 points, 1 or 2 points.
yep, we played at Springfield and Southeast. We were at Southeast, and we were playing Chatham, and it was so hard. Like just seeing Lexi Newman, she's a great player. She hit that last shot, and I was like, my heart just like sank to my stomach, but.
And it felt like things, not necessarily that you guys you weren't playing bad, but I said that things weren't clicking as well as they usually were. So how do you kind of deal with that and try to work past that during the game when, maybe you're just shots aren't falling, passes aren't the same? What do you do when that's happening?
So like when my shots aren't falling, I just tell myself like take it to the rim. Like, take it to the rim or create shots for your teammates. Like when one thing's not happening, there's so many other things that you can be doing well in the game that will start like making the shots fall, if that makes sense. So I think just that, and then just kind of keeping each other held up, encouraging one another. We tend to do that when we play really good teams. Sometimes it's like we kind of forget that it's like you can do so many other things to keep you in the game. So sometimes we need to just kind of remind ourselves that. But
Going into the season, Lulu's graduated now, and the same with Aubrey. So Lulu had a great defensive aspect about her, and Aubrey especially with the three-pointers. So how are you going to try and fill those holes that they're leaving as they graduate?
yeah, like you said, they were great mentors for us. We're gonna miss them a lot. Leah's gonna be back this year. She was injured mostly all season last year, and she's a great defender. So I think she's gonna, fill Lulu's spot really well when she's back and fully healthy. Fully healthy. But yeah, just working hard in practice, like you play how you practice, like just go hard, like do 100%, 110% in everything you do. It really does make a difference.
I saw at the end of last season as well, some younger girls were getting some practice in. I think Grace Rogers was getting some minutes as well. So how do you, as one of the seniors now and one of the leaders, help kind of mentor them and push them, because they're going to be a big aspect as well when getting into the postseason and then trying to get a post run?
Yeah, I think Grace, Gianna, Joe, a lot of those girls, McKinley, I think they realize, when I graduate and when the class under me graduates, like they're gonna be top dogs. They're gonna be the leaders. And a lot of them are very vocal players. They have a lot of leadership qualities. So I think naturally that's gonna come easy for those guys because they're very good. They're very mature, very good players.
It's kind of weird to think about, but obviously, even after we graduate, girls basketball is still going to happen, all this stuff. So, do you plan on coming back to see any of those games?
Oh, for sure. For sure. My sister will still be playing. And that's one thing with SEMO. I'm not too far, not too close, but I'm not too far. So I'm still going to be able to come and watch her and support and catch the games on Tommy TV. Like, that's such a blessing. That's so awesome. But yeah.
So, obviously, Maisie and Kylie are a couple people that you've played with for a while, and Leah as well. She'll definitely, come back from the injury, be more active this season. So, what is the sentiment going into this final season and having played with them for so long, and now you kind of get it for one more ride with them?
Yeah, like, just enjoy it. They're, all three of those girls, they're collegiate level players. Kylie's going to go play college ball. I'm sure Maisie and Leah will go play college ball, basketball, or volleyball. They're fully capable of doing it, and I just think we need to just enjoy every single moment we have together. It's really bittersweet this year, but yeah.
There's a lot of special memories that happen, not even on the court, just going out to eat after a game. Do you have any, what's one of your best memories of just not being on the court, but in the locker room, just with the team?
7th grade was, peak. We had Mr. White as our coach, and we would do, Saturday practices. He'd bring donuts every practice, and, that was just awesome. We had, a zoo trip. That year was so fun. But, yeah, in high school, just, we've just had such a good bond growing up. So even just moments in class just talking, just conversations outside of basketball. Not even necessarily, going out to eat, itself, but just being able to soak up all the moments with my friends over the years has just been so fun.
It's like, hey girls, let's stay healthy. We need a good basketball season, but really quick before practice, here's some donuts.
Yeah.
Go to town. Have there been any relationships that you've made with other girls through basketball that don't even go here? Maybe they go to another college or a different high school?
Oh, for sure. I played for Illinois Elite for 3 or 4 years, and I made a bunch of friends from Chicago. And then, yeah, with my current AAU program based out of Indiana, I have a lot of Indiana girls on my team. So it's just crazy. That's, probably my favorite thing about AAU is just making new bonds and new friendships with people that, you've never even met before.
You thought about going to school in some other places, Chicago being one of them. Is that somewhere that you could see yourself after college, or do you think a different place might be the spot for you?
Um, I think I'd like to stick to a smaller town like Taylorville. Chicago's great though. There's so much to do there. Um, but yeah, I think a size of town like Taylorville is like overall like my ideal place to be, I think.
Plus, you can kind of be I don't want to say the big shot there, but like here we have a great trainer, Josh, that helps out with all of our stuff. So whether it's physical therapy or whatever you go into, I think the connection's also better there. Like you really make these bonds with these people, and then you can see how they improve throughout the game. So is there a favorite venue or place besides Taylorville that you'd like to play at?
I love playing at the State Farm Classic in Bloomington. All those gyms, they're just fun. They're really fun like environments to be at.
Is that at ISU?
No, it's a tournament at all the different high schools in Bloomington. So like Bloomington High, stuff like that, place like that. Let me think. Effingham's a fun gym to play in. It's just big, really spacious. Same with Mattoon. Those are fun gyms to play in. I also usually play pretty good when I'm there. That makes it better. But yeah, those are probably some of my favorite places.
When Purple Rain can turn out, when they do, I mean they can. When they do, it's pretty clear. Is there any places where they have the away version of Purple Rain and they're kind of trying to get under your skin or anything like that, or is it just kind of like whatever?
Mattoon in the past, for sure, especially like freshman year. They had a really good team freshman year, and they were just like, they were brutal. Muhammad too, freshman year. Oh man, like that was tough. Pena always, of course. But yeah.
Do you guys know kind of what your schedule's looking like yet, or will that be something that you'll know in the next few months?
I've checked a few times, and there's not much on there right now. I just see like the Thanksgiving tournament and then a few random conference games, but nothing much on there yet.
Are there any big ones that you're looking forward to, that like any matchups that you think might be good this year?
Always Lincoln.
Yeah.
Effingham will be good. Chatham, I think we play O'Fallon this year and Alton, so those are going to be really tough teams.
Did Chloe Froby graduate?
Yes. Yep.
So don't have to worry about locking her up
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
They still have several other
Yes,
good
they
players,
do.
I'm sure.
They're
So
all
it'll
so
still be
good.
a fun matchup.
Yes.
But man, it was tough trying to get after her. It's like, plus they have other people in the perimeter that can shoot. So I'm looking forward to that one. It should be a good matchup this year.
For sure.
What's the furthest that you've traveled for a high school game? Do you know? I know that like we have a few hour and a half, like Charleston and stuff like that. But is there anything further than that you can think
Trying to
of?
think. Bloomington tournament's pretty far. Highland tournament. Usually play in the Highland tournament every year. That's pretty far too. When I tore my ACL, the next day my team went down to Mount Vernon. That's a haul, but I think those are the furthest we've gone.
When you get injured as an athlete like that, whenever it happens, do you know like this is bad, this is gonna keep me down, or is it just like this hurts, this sucks, I want to be done with this pain right now?
Yeah, I think like as an athlete, especially if you're gonna play at the collegiate level, like you are so in tune with your body. When I went down that night, like I knew something was wrong. I think my adrenaline was so high though. I didn't have a lot of pain though, but I knew like I was like, this isn't right though. Like something's very wrong. But I didn't have a lot of pain with mine, which was rare and like kind of gave me some hope when I went to like the ortho, because they're like, it's super painful and you feel a pop. I'm like, well, I didn't feel a pop. It wasn't super painful. I'm sure my adrenaline was just like crazy high, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least it didn't hurt as bad when you go down in
Yeah.
a moment like that. I'm sure that after that adrenaline wore off,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was probably a
Sore,
lot worse.
swollen. Yep.
Yeah. How long was that recovery? Because I know that you're obviously out for the rest of that season, but past that, how long was that recovery process?
It was about a year. It was a year. And I still, even playing throughout my junior season this past year, I still was never 100%. Strength-wise, mentally, I wasn't. I was close, but I wasn't 100%. But yeah, that took a year. And then this past one was like probably 4 months, I'd say.
Let's talk about like regular high school classes. So I know that you're in CEO this year. What else are you involved in besides that?
So, CEO, I do Lincoln Land. I'm doing stats and comp. Let me think. I'm in anatomy, civics and Supreme Court, and then I'm going to do FSQ as well.
What would you say? Did you say that you have a toughest class right now, or is it all kind of just like get the work done?
Definitely my Lincoln Land classes so far. Statistics, math's not my friend. Stats is going to be tough. It's not too bad yet, but it's definitely going to be. And then comp, it's just a lot of writing. I don't mind writing, but getting started for me is like the hardest part when writing.
I've heard people talking about stats. What is that? What does the curriculum look like there? What do you actually do in that class?
So it's like math, but with words. Okay. It's just a lot of stat taking, a lot of data taking.
If you go 4 for 5 from field goals, what is it, like that kind of thing? What is your percentage?
Yes, stuff like that. But yeah, there's just a lot of factors going into like stats. Just a lot of things you have to remember. It's not too bad yet though.
As far as like the CEO program goes, why did you decide to take that one? Because obviously there's a lot to offer there. Was there any specific thing that you really wanted out of that class?
I've always found a lot of interest in entrepreneurship, and I just really don't know a lot about it. So Lulu took that class, obviously, last year, and she loved it. So I was like, I really think I should take this. Like, I'm going to actually learn about this. I want to visit businesses and get their input on everything, and just starting my own business. Obviously making a little bit of money. Like, that's great. But
Absolutely,
like,
that's a big part of it.
Just learning, like, how to do it. It's always interests me.
I feel like people are sometimes kind of scared to like admit that they want to do it to make money. But I mean, if we're being honest, you ask business owners, like that's a good part about it, you know?
We're going to be in college. Like, we're going to have to start, making some cash. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Or you see like, all that stuff. Are you going to bring a car there with you?
I think so because it's not super far from home, so it's a pretty easy drive. It's pretty straightforward. So
maybe work at like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, exactly.
You see Addison drop like 20 in a game, and then you go to Dunk afterwards. You're like, here's your coffee.
An advertisement all the windows.
Yeah, there you go. What about? Do you know what travel's gonna look like to away games? Because obviously college is gonna be a lot further to travel than just going to Payne, I hear. Right. So, I mean, are those going to be longer bus rides? And, I mean, what does that time look like on the bus before games? Are you getting ready? What's that whole kind of situation look like?
I haven't taken my official visit, so I haven't gotten, like, all the ins and outs of that yet. But I think, yeah, like, we'll all ride a bus. Some schools have planes, but no. We'll take a bus. But the games are super far. Like, I think the farthest will probably be, like, I don't know, like, 4 hours, but that's really not that bad. Like SIUE is not super far, and Eastern.
You don't have to go to UCLA.
Yeah, right.
Like
across the country.
Yeah. I know that when you made that post, I think your mom made one too on Facebook that just blew up. What was it like? How long before that did you know that you were gonna go there?
I think. I don't want to say like that day at the camp, but like I loved it so much. I think like probably 3 or 4 days after the camp is when I called the coach and I was like, hey, like I want to verbally commit. Like I loved it that much and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So I'd say like 3 or 4 days after camp.
And there's that one graphic that you posted, and you have the SEMO, what is it, Redbirds?
Yep, Red Hawks.
What it is? Red Hawks,
yep.
Okay. And then you have was that jersey, did you actually put that on, or was that Photoshop?
No, that was Photoshop.
Okay, I thought so. And they do that a lot of times, even in like the NFL or stuff, if a guy gets traded. So I wanted to check, so I was like, did you put a jersey on, or was that photo? Okay, that's what I thought. Did one of your friends make that or something for you?
Mom.
Was it your mom?
My mom made it.
It's a super cool graphic. Okay, I was gonna say it's a super cool graphic.
Thanks.
So, yeah, I'll put that up. But yeah, Red Hawks. Okay. Is there any sort of what kind of gear do you have to get? I mean, obviously you've gotten a lot of gear for high school and stuff, but is there anything new that when you go into college you have to get for basketball?
Yeah, so they are Under Armour sponsored, so everything we wear, practice, games, everything has to be Under Armour. So I would assume they would provide us with like, obviously the uniforms and the socks and the shoes and all that, but yeah, like all their bookstore there, everything that they sell online, it's all Under Armour. So.
What would happen if you wore Nike? Should I bleep the word Nike to like a practice or something? Do they like kick you out? Something like that. Have you seen like the locker room or any of that stuff, or is that something that you'll see on your actual tour?
I think I'm gonna see it on my visit because they just redid it. So I've seen some pictures online, but I think like it won't do it justice. Like, I'm super excited to see the locker room. I've heard their weight room's like crazy too. So
Yeah, what kind of role? I mean, obviously the athletic facility, not just out on the court, but when you're, um, stretching stuff out or getting ready for the game, that has a big impact to do with it. Did you say their bookstore was Under Armour?
yeah, so like they're like so at every school they have a bookstore, but they sell like a bunch of apparel through it and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay,
So like
okay.
everything in the store is like Under Armour, like
So is like
apparel-wise.
is there a football team there?
Yep.
So are they Under Armour too and everything? So every sports team? Wow. Okay. Awesome. Um, do you have like did you have a different brand that you liked more that you're gonna have to switch from to be a little bit more comfortable, or?
I have grown up Nike girl. Like, I'm a Nike girl.
Yeah.
I am.
Uh-huh.
But I think every brand.
Hey, free stuff is free stuff.
Right,
Right. We'll take
right.
it. So when basketball season does roll around and you're in practices and stuff, this year is going to be, I don't want to say necessarily more intensive, but there's a lot of work with Lincoln Land especially. So, I mean, how do you have to just do homework like really late at night, or how do you do that?
Sometimes, yeah, and that like kind of going back to what I said earlier, like time management is going to be my best friend because I'm doing Lincoln Land basketball. I got CEO too. I got a business I'm going to have to try and work with, but yeah, like I'm just going to have to learn. I think like this year's going to be a good lesson, good preparing for like next year in college.
So do the Lincoln Land classes you take right now, so that's college credit obviously. So are you taking those just to not have to do other stuff later, or what's like the mindset behind that, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. I think doing it now, I kind of get some more one-on-one with the professor rather than going to like a bigger a bigger, class. So yeah, I think it's just good to just get as much as you can out of the way.
Yeah. Plus you get kind of used to how the college classes are going to look like beforehand. I don't know what the facilities are. Are there like auditoriums? Is it just like a classroom, or how does it
I
look
think
there at Lincoln Land?
it's different. I think there's like one classroom that's bigger auditorium style, I guess, but most of them are relatively pretty small. But like SEMO and most colleges, like they have all like huge classrooms. So, and I mean, I have people in my class now that are like, I have full-grown adults in some of my class. So it's just a different feel.
I know that you talked a lot about you're more of a college fan than a pro sports fan. Did you go to a lot of college games?
I have. With most of the teams that have scouted me and recruited me, I try and catch one of their games throughout the season. But been to so many Illini games. Like I love going to that like gym. It's just such a cool like vibe in there.
Plus, the atmosphere with college sports a lot of times is even better than pro sports with all the student sections that are out there and stuff like that. Yeah, you definitely feel that. What's the biggest thing that you're looking forward to when you move on to SEMO and college level?
I'm just super excited to meet new people, build a relationship with my team, get in the best shape of my life. Yeah, and then just really start, studying and yeah, just having like I think it's just gonna be fun, like
It's
just
the
playing,
college
yeah,
experience.
for sure.
What do you think about do you think the conditioning will be harder there? Like the running practices, stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
do a lot of that stuff now, or is it more just like we'll do practices and then try to, do whatever you can on the other
Yeah,
time?
I mean, most of the time it's like, well, at the beginning of the practice, we'll do conditioning for like half an hour and then that's it. I mean, I think basketball, like, you just kind of like, to get in like perfect conditioning, I'm sorry, is like actually just playing. Like, you just gotta play to get in shape. It's like we scrimmage, obviously. But I think that's like the best way on top of like, the sprinting and stuff like that.
Another thing is, I don't know if you noticed this with basketball, but I've noticed this in other sports that I've played. Like, when you're doing practices, sometimes, like in practice, it feels like you're running a lot and you're not actually getting a sweat. But then the game time comes and you're running up and down, but you're not as out of breath, and you're still like you're sweatier and you're burning more calories, I guess. But it just doesn't feel. I don't know if that's just because you're in a game and so the adrenaline's more. But I would say that's
I
definitely a
agree,
big
yeah.
thing. And a lot of times with high school, you don't have a ton of time with practices, so it's more important to practice on drills and getting shots up and stuff. Since freshman year, I think Coach Eldred has been the coach for all 4 of your years now. So has a lot like changed with what plays you guys run and stuff like that, or is it pretty much just we know what to do, let's just keep doing it?
Yeah, for sure. We learn new plays every year, new defenses every year. Um, and like as players, we also learn stuff every year. I think Eldred and Kevin and Tad, like they learn things as well every year, and how we can be better as a team every year. So everything's just constantly changing as teams get better and
I know that for football, it's a little bit easier to watch film because there's usually always like some sort of huddle cam or something. But is that something that you guys do for not only your team but for other teams to look at what you're gonna run?
oh yeah, for sure. And it kind of helps like with teams that live stream. I like even when I'm bored in class, like I'll just go and like watch their games. Like that sounds crazy, but like I do, like because I just want to know.
Like you're done with math.
Yeah,
Like, let's turn on the
yeah.
effing hammer.
But yeah, like
something
we'll
like
go
that.
into Eldred's classroom like before a game or a day before a game, and we'll watch some film. And it does help. It really does. And mostly we watch film of ourselves, like and what we do, what we can do better, like things that we're poor at and stuff like that. But
Yeah, you said it does help. I mean, do you really feel like after you've watched it, like you feel that coming into effect during a game?
oh yeah, like for sure, like watching their plays and then just kind of helps us like, oh, like how do we defend this play? Like that's their good player, that's their good player, that player's not so great. Like so, just kind of what pieces we need to put where, what we need to do. It definitely helps a lot.
I mean, you guys have three coaches, but a lot of it I feel like now probably comes from inside the team, like you guys coaching each other. So has that been a factor? Have you been able to coach other teammates, and have they been able to help you out?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think it just helps that we've played together since we were in 5th grade. We just know each other on a personal level and as like a sports level. Like we were just able to critique each other and make each other better every day.
I know that there's times, even when like close friends, if it's a tough game or something, they can like tell you like, Addison, kick out here,
What
and
are
then you
you
get like,
doing?
yeah, you like get
Oh,
mad at each
yeah.
other. Does that happen
Oh,
with you guys?
yeah. Even in practice. But I think we all do it out of love, and we're all just so competitive. All of us. We're so competitive. I love it, though.
It's trying to get each other better, but also like you kind of want to even the guy on your own team because then that helps you get better as a player as well. But yeah, usually after the game, I think it kind of dies back down. You're like, okay, we're all on the same
friends again,
team
yeah.
here. Yeah. What has been one of your favorite memories, whether it could be, playing at a certain place or against someone or with certain teammates, just in these past 4 high school years?
Let me think.
Or I guess if there's any big games that have
Yeah.
stuck out.
Definitely 1,000-point game against Paris. That was just awesome. I loved playing. I'm trying to think. Lincoln's always fun, even though we've gotten it handed to us every year. It's always a big turnout. It's always a loud crowd. I think it's always a fun game. Chatham game was fun too. There was a lot of people that traveled to watch that game.
That was in Chatham, and what happened at that one? What made it a bigger
It
game?
was just, I think Taylorville and Chatham just like we've always kind of like rivaled. I
Had that
guess
beef?
like don't even know why, but it's just how it is. And they're a very good team too. They have a lot of young great players. Lexi Newman, she's great. She's gonna play Division I basketball too, and she's a year younger than me, or 2 years younger than me. She's my sister's age, so it's just like crazy. Like their caliber of athletes are just like insane there. So they're always super fun to play. And I think all of our conference games are fun too. Like we have a tough conference in every sport, I think. So.
Do you ever think about like whenever you're like recovering from something and trying to get back into the game? Do you ever think like what could have been if you didn't recover to this, and does that act as some sort of motivation to you?
Yeah, for sure. There are still times like I move a certain way and like it kind of pinches or it just doesn't feel right, and I'm like, but I have to remind myself that my entire knee's been like reconstructed, so it's
like a
it's
bionic
not.
knee
Yeah,
now.
it's literally never gonna feel normal. But no, like mentally, like for sure, like physically, like it'll hurt, and I'm like, oh, like, but mentally, it's like, oh no, like it's like hesitant, but
That can even hit you like just during the middle of a school day. Like you said, like you could feel something, and then all of a sudden you're mind's swirling about that, and now you gotta try and focus on like stats or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it can be tough. But so is there anything like actually metal in your knee, or has it just been like surgically moved around?
So when I tore my ACL, they used my patella tendon and made that my new ACL. I'm trying to think. Yeah, they have like a suture in there and like a graft. So I'm trying to think. They called it a device. I have a device in my knee.
There's something in there.
Literally
We don't
don't
know
know.
what.
Yeah, there's something in there.
There's some sort of
But yeah,
contraption.
but yes, and like they injected like bone marrow in there, and that's like supposed to make it stronger too. So yeah, really interesting. It's
Is
kind
it
of
the left
confusing.
one?
Yeah, it's my
Okay.
left. It's confusing, but
There's a lot going
yes.
on. Is that something that you want to learn more about going into, want to be a physical therapist, or do you not have to know all that kind of physical or I guess surgical stuff?
I think it'd be really cool to like learn about all of that, just to kind of like, oh, like I'm gonna know what all this does, so I can help prevent injuries. I don't know. I don't know how to even explain that. Yes, I think it'd be really cool to learn about all that. But yeah.
So is there anyone else that you want to shout out today?
I want people to know like I'm so grateful just for my parents for taking me everywhere and providing me with all these opportunities. My little sister, all my coaches, AAU, high school, junior high, St. Mary's, like everything. Like so grateful. Like you guys have made me who I am. Marky, my trainer, all my trainers. So grateful for them too. Like they've just taught me so much, and they just see the game in a completely different perspective. And obviously all my surgeons and stuff, like, obviously, like, I would not be where I am today.
Thank you
also.
for not messing up.
Yeah.
Thankfully they did not mess up in their operating room. But yeah, thank you for coming in, Addison. I appreciate the time today. I'll let you go. We've been talking for a while, but I hope everyone enjoyed hearing a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff and just to get to know a little bit more about you. So thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the other question about shout outs so I can cut it together
Okay,
so it
yeah,
doesn't
no,
seem
that's
so
fine.
weird. So you don't have to answer it. I'm just gonna ask it. So is there anyone else that you want to shout out today? Okay, that was good. That'll make a blooper reel.